Welcome back to the third session of the Small Business Academy with the Bureau of Contract Administration. As you now know, or already know, my name is Melissa Savage. I'm a Senior Management Analyst with the Bureau of Contract Administration. And I'm really glad to see so many returning names tonight. Our panelists are kind of filtering in as well, so you will meet them as the evening goes on. But we are going to go ahead and start with the homework assignment. I hope you guys got that email from me, which had a reminder and what the levels were. And if people are up for it, we can actually, this time, if you would like to talk, we'll do it. I think we'll start with the zones. That was the first question anyway. What are the Olympic zones? So does anybody want to raise your hand on the Zoom system if you are interested in telling us some of those zones? All right, Lila. We'll get you a few of them. Oh. To my people controlling the board, I don't have access to them to turn on their mics. And oh, there we go. All right. We will start with, no. I still can't turn on their mics. Sorry, guys. 1 second.
Melissa, I think Sarah is.
Hi, I'm here.
There we go.
There. I can hear Sarah. Okay. Sarah, you want to go ahead and give us, we have a few people who volunteered. So want to give us like the first 3 or 4?
Sure. Trussell's Beach zone. I'll start from the south.
Okay.
Anaheim zone and Long Beach and Port of LA zone.
So Anaheim, Port of LA. Wait.
Long Beach and Trussell's Beach.
Trussell's Beach is its own zone?
It looks like it on the map.
Okay.
For surfing.
Trying to move my mouse, which does not want to go. It does. All right. Long Beach, Trussell's Beach, Anaheim. All right. And then who's next? Lila?
Okay, great. Hi.
Hi.
So, yes, what are the zones? The zones are, yes, the different
3 or 4. Yeah.
Yeah, different venue zones. So I like the LA Convention Center. That's the downtown Los Angeles zone. So I pretty much like the downtown area. Dodger Stadium would be the DTLA zone.
Just give me the zones for now. Just
okay.
the zones. So downtown LA.
Okay, yeah, downtown LA is a zone. Universal City is a zone. The Long Beach zone, and then also the Port of Los Angeles zone.
All right. And then who's next? Teodoro? Do you have any more to add?
Yes.
What do you got?
Hello. I have the Carson zone, the Exposition Park zone, and the OKC zone.
You know what OKC stands for?
It's not Oklahoma.
Yes, it is.
It is okay. It's Oklahoma.
That was a
Oklahoma
bit of a
zone.
shocker, but yes, Oklahoma City is actually one of the zones for this Olympics Games. Awesome. All right, Carlos Cordoba.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon.
Hi. Give me a couple.
Let's see. I got the Valley Zone out here, Venice Zone.
All right.
I saw one in Whittier Narrows.
Okay.
Pomona zone,
Mona. right, we got
city of
one more-
industry zone.
We got one more hand up. Hold on, folks. Mona. Who's next? They moved. Hold on. Viola, Carlos, Sarah, Sharon Coleman. You are also have your hand raised. Do you want to name a couple that we missed? Sharon, you have to unmute yourself too. No? All right, Melissa Tong, you want to go? You want to bring us home?
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So I came in a few minutes late, so I don't know which one has been said, but I have City of Industry zone.
You
I
got
have
that one.
Pomona zone,
Which one?
Pomona,
You got that one.
Whittier,
Got it.
Arcadia.
Ah, it's a new one.
Yeah, the Exposition Park.
Okay, we have that one.
I don't know if Pasadena was said.
No, not yet.
Yeah, so Pasadena, and then so I heard part of Long Beach. I heard Long Beach, Anaheim zone.
Ah, good. That was one that was missed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got that one.
Oh, you got
There's
that one.
still
Okay.
one.
Universal City, that was
That one was-
mentioned already, right?
Yeah, there's two that haven't been mentioned.
Oh, there's still two. Oh, Englewood zone.
Yep. And then one more. It's got one venue.
It's a Riviera,
Riviera. All right.
right?
Awesome.
Okay.
For those of you who still, let me give a couple more people permission to talk or have their hands raised. Anyone else? Okay. So I've opened it up to pretty much everyone who has their hand up. You can unmute yourself. But who wants to name some of what are the, let's just start at the top because my list is alphabetical and it's easier for me. Okay, so what is the venue in the Honda Center? Or I just gave it away. In Anaheim, it's the Honda Center. Next one. What's in Arcadia?
Oh, in Arcadia is the Santa Anita Park.
Very good. All right. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 venues in Carson. Who wants to name those? Shout out your name.
Carol,
Carol, go ahead.
okay, in Carson South Bay, I have the Dignity Health Sports Park, the Velco Sports Center. Oh, those are the only two that I have down for those.
All right. Who else has some?
The
for
Carson
Carson
Courts, the Carson
Courts.
Courts.
Carson
Say your
Courts.
name. Carson Courts.
Oh.
Lisa. Both of us are saying at the same time, Carson Court. Lisa.
Okay. Carson Courts. What else?
We also have in that one we also have the it's still
Carson.
Carson Courts. Hold on, gotta see.
I think I only have
Um,
3 in Carson.
I only
This is
had 2
Desiree.
for
All
Carson.
right. So I'll give this
Oh,
one
wait.
away and we'll go on to the next one. So it's Carson Courts. Carson
Wait a
Field,
minute. There is a Carson Field. Hold on, let's see.
Carson
There's,
Oh,
Stadium,
Carson.
and Carson Velodrome.
there is Carsonville. Yeah.
All right.
There's
Oh,
a
Carson
Carson
Fields.
There's a
Alright.
Carsonville in the Carson zone.
So next one we're gonna do, and just say your name if you want to give the answer, because it makes it a little bit cleaner.
Mhm.
It's gonna be downtown LA. Who wants to give me?
Cornell. Cornell. We have
Cornell, go ahead.
we have the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, the crypto arena, the Peacock Theater, USC, Galen Center, Dodger
Those
Stadium.
are, nope, no. You got some, but you're mixing up, you're blending a couple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who else, who wants to go next? Who wants just downtown LA? Anyone? We have the downtown LA arena.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
which is Anschutz Entertainment Group, and then Dodger Stadium. Then there's three with the same name sort of, but it's the convention center. So the different halls in the convention center
Mhm.
and the Peacock Theater. So then we're going into Exposition Park. So who wants to
Excuse
do
me,
that
can
one?
I ask a question?
Sure.
The first one you mentioned, is that the cryo arena? Cryotope?
Downtown LA Arena.
Yes.
Just my notes just have it with which group manages it, which we'll get to next.
Okay.
If one of my team wants to chime in on there who worked
It's
on this.
crypto.
It is crypto?
It's
Oh,
crypto.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they just have them listed all different.
Differently, right?
Yeah, they
Okay.
didn't put the names down, right? They're just doing it by zone. So it's a little, sometimes you got to do a little bit more digging on all of it. So Expo Park, there's three.
Expo Park.
Expo Park is separate from downtown LA, even though it's very close. But
Oh.
Exposition
We have
Park,
two.
Galen Center, which is USC, right?
Mhm.
Which is right across the street.
Yes.
LA Memorial Coliseum, and then what's the third one?
BMO.
Right, it's BMO Stadium, which they listed
Yeah.
as Exposition Park Stadium.
Mhm.
And then Inglewood. There's two.
Desiree, SoFi Stadium
Uh-huh.
and is that Hollywood? No, the Hollywood Park? No, Intuit Dome.
Into it. Very good.
Yeah, Intuit.
All right, now let's get to Long Beach. Who can tell me which venues are in Long Beach? Let's see if there's anyone else who has their hand up. I see more names.
This is the Love Me All Day Comfort Wig, and y'all, she's everything. It's pre-plucked, pre-bleached, and pre-cut. So it looks
Long Beach Arena.
Here, someone, if you have background noise, please mute yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so Long Beach.
Long Beach Arena. This is Robin.
Hi, Rob. Okay, what else? Long Beach Arena, yes.
Long Beach Convention Center and Alamitos Beach.
Okay. Anyone else?
Is
We
that
also
Belmont, Desiree, Belmont Shores
Belmont Shore, nice.
and Long Beach Convention Center?
you to step, bump, step, bump.
Who's got a thing saying step? Please
5,
mute.
6, 7, 8. Step, bump.
That's so weird.
Bump,
Okay.
step, bump. Potiphar Ray, kickball change.
Is the Marina Stadium a part of the Long Beach?
It is. It's Marine Stadium.
Oh, Marine, sorry.
Oh, Marine Stadium.
Alamitos
So-
Beach.
For Long Beach, we have Belmont Shore, Long Beach Arena, Long Beach Climbing Theater, Long Beach Target Shooting Hall, and the Marine Stadium.
Okay.
So, and then Oklahoma City, I know that threw a lot of people off. Does anybody know the two sports that are there?
Softball, Desiree, softball and canoe.
Devon Park and River Sport Rapids.
Right, softball park and then Whitewater Center. So the Rapids. And then Pasadena.
Desiree, Rose Bowl, the Rose Bowl Stadium football.
And the
Soccer?
Rose Bowl Aquatic Center.
Very good. Pomona Zone. Anyone?
Fairground Cricket
Fairplex.
Stadium.
The cricket.
Yep, Cricket Stadium.
But it's
Fairgrounds
a Fairplex.
Cricket Stadium. Yep. Port of LA.
Port of LA.
It's just the Port of LA. Riviera.
Sailing Port of Los Angeles.
So what's the venue?
Tesla Beach Zone. Tesla Beach. Oh, no. It's
Riviera.
Sailing Port of Los
It
Angeles.
would be Riviera Country Club
Thank
Yeah,
for
you.
that's-
coffee.
Yeah.
That's the Palisades. Is that considered Palisades?
Yeah.
But
Pacific Palisades.
And that's-
they've
that's
named it as
golf?
the Riviera
Yes.
Country Club.
Oh,
Yeah. And then Trestles Beach. It's just the name of the beach. It's just the beach. What about Universal City?
Universal City, Comcast Squash Center.
Yep. And then Valley. Who wants to give me two Valley locations? Anyone?
Desiree Sepulveda Basin Recreation Area.
Yeah, they have like 4 different valley complexes.
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Okay, so then Venice, what do we have for Venice?
Venice Beach.
Venice
Okay.
Beach and Boardwalk.
All right. All right, so now I'm gonna quiz you on who manages certain things. So in the Anaheim zone at the Honda Center, who manages that venue?
Frankie.
City of Anaheim, owned and operated by Anaheim Marina Management.
Okay. The Carson Field. Anyone?
Private
Didn't it-
operator, it's a private operator on public land.
That
AEG
AEG.
on CSU Dominguez Hills campus.
Yes, very good. All right. Dodger Stadium.
Dodger organization.
Dodger Stadium.
And-
Owned by
It's Dodgers
Guggenheim.
and, uh-huh,
Guggenheim, yes.
Mhm. Baseball management.
and then
That's a private group, yeah.
yeah, it's a private group. What about the convention center?
City, Los Angeles.
But it's managed by
Legends, managed by Legends.
Nice.
the company is ASM Global.
Ah.
What about BMO Stadium in Exposition Park?
Emo. LAFC.
LAFC, yep.
Hold on.
Global.
Right. So Exposition Park is a funny place. I used to work there for many years. It is a state park in the middle of the city. And then there's private entities on top of it. So Exposition Park, BMO Stadium is owned by the LA Football Club, right? LAFC, and it subleases the site from USC. But then it also shares it with the Coliseum Commission. So there's a lot of hands on that one. What about Alamos Beach Stadium? Alamitos Beach Stadium, sorry.
Alamo Beach Stadium.
Alamitos, you mean?
Alameda Beach Stadium is
has-
ASM, operated by ASM Global.
No, Alamitos Beach Stadium hasn't been built yet. It's being built just for the Olympic, and it will be operated by the city of Long Beach. But the Long Beach Arena is also owned by the city of Long Beach, managed by ASM Global.
ASM Global, yeah.
Yeah. And then what about Marine Stadium?
Marine Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the canoeing's going, right?
Right, but who manages it? No.
Oh, OCK River Sports.
OKC
Port of Long Beach.
is
City of Long Beach.
Oklahoma City. Long Beach and Recreations. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I just got a notice that my internet was being weird, so I just want to make sure. Okay. I think, what about Venice Beach?
Venice Beach.
Who manages Venice
City
Beach?
of Los
City of
Angeles,
Los
Department
Angeles.
of Recreation and Parks.
What about the other entities? Anyone else can name them? No?
Pasadena, the city of Pasadena.
No, not for Venice Beach. It's Beaches
Oh,
and
for
Harbor,
Venice
and
Beach.
it's LAPD that operates that.
Oh, sorry.
So I think that brings us to 422. So I think that's great. Thank you for those of you who participated. We're going to go ahead and put you guys back on silent so that we can move on with the program. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going to look down and see if there's any additional hands I see up.
I have a quick
Anybody have any
question.
additional questions about that?
Was this
There's a
supposed to be emailed to you? Or we were talking about it in
you don't
class,
have,
right?
we're all
Okay.
grown-ups here. You don't have to turn it in. It was just to be able to discuss it because I wanted you to see that there were a lot of different spaces and a lot of different owners and a lot of different private and public companies, which also leads us into our presentation tonight. One of the reasons why I was hitting on Long Beach so hard is because we have some presenters from the city of Long Beach. And so I just wanted you to kind of get a feel for how many different entities there are involved in all of these various venues and all of these different projects. So thank you for those of you who participated. We are going to go ahead and start putting everyone back into the attendee pile. And we're going to take a short 3-minute break real quick, and then we'll get back to our presentations. All right, so grab your coffee, run to the bathroom if you need to. We'll be right back. Hello. All right. Thank you for that moment. I think we've got everybody back in their places. So we are going to move on with the show, as they say. So up first, I would like to introduce Mariko Medrano from the Los Angeles County Department of Public Works. Marika, are you?
Yes, I'm on. Hello.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Trying to find you. Do you have your camera on?
I do have my camera on.
Okay. There you are. All right. Marika, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm going to put your partner in crime, I know, Julie, as an attendee so that she can have access to the Q&A should she need it. I know there were some things you might want to share. So go ahead. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, thank you. And perfect. You've got the slide deck. Thanks so much. So thank you, Melissa, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Marika Medrano, and I am an assistant division chief in the contracting division of Public Works with the County of Los Angeles. So I'm excited to share how you can do business with LA County and specifically Public Works. And I will be highlighting some of the opportunities that we have and how you can kind of gain access and learn about our current and upcoming contracting opportunities. Next slide. So Public Works is one of 38 county departments. And we are one of the largest municipal public works agencies in the United States. We are providing vital 21st century infrastructure and essential services to all the residents of LA County, so about 10 million people, across a 4,000 square mile regional service area. Public Works has 6 core service areas: water resources, transportation, environmental services, construction management, development services, and emergency management. And our agency also manages sustainable water, transportation, and waste management infrastructure. Next slide. So the first step to doing any kind of business with LA County is to register as a county vendor. So you'll see right here, it's managed by Internal Services Department, ISD. And so you would visit the Doing Business with LA County website, doingbusiness.lacounty.gov. And that snip on the right there, it's a very user-friendly link to register if your firm is not yet registered to do business with LA County. It only takes a few minutes. I've heard, about 2 to 5 minutes. So this is a really quick and essential step. And it's linked to our financial system, which pays vendors for all services provided. So it really is that initial first step to wanting to contract or do any type of business with the county. And when you are registered, when you register, you get to choose certain commodity codes, for certain services. And whenever a solicitation or procurement is issued by the county, by any of those county departments, right, you would get a notification based on the commodity code, because when a solicitation is issued, ISD will send out an email notification to all the firms that are have listed themselves under a particular commodity code. So not only are you then registered, but then you get those notifications when a particular opportunity that you've indicated you can provide that service comes up. Next slide. The step 2 in this process is very important, especially with this audience, the small business audience here. This is about certifying, making sure that you're certified with LA County through the Office of Small Business, which is managed by Department of Economic Opportunity, or DEO. And if you haven't gotten certified yet, get certified with LA County. We will give reciprocity to some other certifications, but DEO reviews and validates. So you may think, oh, I'm certified with Metro, or I might be certified with City of LA. But if you want to do business with LA County and get the advantages of that certification with LA County, get certified with LA County. It's also, there might be some additional documents you need to provide beyond that WebVen, but it is not a complicated process. And DEO will help step you through that process. That website on the page there, the certified.lacounty.gov, it takes you to a portal with very helpful instructions. I want to highlight that the county has a goal that 25% of procurement and contracting dollars go to local small business enterprises, and that 3% go to disabled veteran business enterprises. And each county department, it really works hard to meet that goal. We have to report it to the board, and DEO is always tracking those numbers as well. So it's not just it is a goal there, but we take it very seriously. And we require in all of our requests for proposals or solicitations that proposers illustrate their best efforts to meet those utilization goals, towards the county's goal of those 25% and 3%. So let me go into the type of certifications. As I mentioned, local small business enterprises, the LSBEs. We want to ensure that our contract dollars stay local and infuse our local economy. Also, if you are a certified LSBE, the county also has prompt pay for LSBEs. The next certification category is the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise, or DVBE. And this certification is meant to enhance contracting opportunities for businesses that are owned by disabled veterans. Social enterprise category. is meant to increase the contracting opportunities for enterprises whose primary purpose is to enhance LA County through economic, social, and environmental sustainability. The last category here I want to highlight, because it's quite big and broad, is community business enterprise, CBE. And this can include the women business enterprises, minority business enterprises, disadvantaged business enterprise, and the LGBTQQ plus owned businesses. So these businesses are all under that county's umbrella of the CBE listings. And that list, again, maintained by Department of Economic Opportunity, is shared across all county departments and also some of our local and neighboring public agencies. We even share this with our prime contractors so they can meet those subcontracting goals. So when you get on that list, you know, there's really great opportunity and visibility because there are, as I mentioned, prime firms that are just looking for additional LSBEs or DVBEs to include in their one of their contracts that they might have. So even if as a prime you're not getting business, there are a lot of opportunities for LSBEs, DVBEs, SEs, and CBEs as a subcontractor as well. The last thing I want to highlight on these programs is that we have preference program for LSBE, DVBE, and SE, which is a bid preference when the eligible enterprise can receive up to 15% bid price reduction, or what we would call preference when bidding on certain goods and services solicited by LA County. This preference is for evaluation purposes only, but it can really give firms a little bit of an advantage. Next slide. So next slide. Last step in this process is then to visit our website and to learn more about our business opportunities. Next slide. So Public Works, oh, sorry, I might have been too fast there. Go back one slide. Public Works at any given time has a number of current solicitations and active procurement opportunities. So, you know, some of those opportunities might include building and major construction projects may have multiple scopes of work involved. There can be infrastructure maintenance, professional services. Sometimes we have project specific, sometimes we have on-call agreements, and then purchasing and procurement opportunities. Next slide. So Public Works purchases over 20,000 types of materials and services. So just to highlight some of the types of things that we would procure on an ongoing or as needed basis are uniforms, dry cleaning services, office supplies, ergonomic equipment, lighting fixtures, carpets and floor tiles, printing services, and more. Some examples of construction materials might include guardrails, concrete and related supplies, storm pipes, asphalt, paint, ropes, harnesses, pulleys, etc. Next slide. So this website here, our Do Business with Public Works, so it's very similar to LA County. It's kind of following that same model, but this takes you to Public Works website, our public facing website, which will show you all of our contracting and purchasing opportunities. Next slide. So when you are on our website, as you see on the right, this illustrates what the page looks like, the Do Business with Public Works. When you navigate to the business opportunities, you'll see that you can filter in various ways. So I'll highlight the one way you can filter in another way. So one way you can filter is by the type, the project type that you're looking for. Is your firm wanting to work on a building project, an infrastructure project, professional services, any purchasing opportunities that you're looking for, or like a service contract, like landscaping or cafeteria or janitorial, for instance. That's what we call those sundry services. Next slide. The other way that you can filter is by the status of what that opportunity is. You would want to likely see what is open, but you might be also interested in seeing what's upcoming. Maybe you want to kind of generally know what has been out there. So you might be interested in looking at the closed opportunities or the awarded ones or all. But this is helpful because I will tell you, we have quite a high volume of projects kind of constantly. And so filtering is helpful because then you can identify if you want to know what's open or what's incoming. That's helpful to filter it similarly by the kind of project type as well, like I showed on the previous slide. Next slide. So our system does require a one-time registration. And that's because we are collecting information about the firms who are interested in doing business with Public Works. So the registration only takes a few moments, and you only need to register one time. And then if you need to in the future, you can always update your information. But I do want to let you know that you need to register in order to view. So when you click on a project, for instance, you'll be prompted to register if you've never registered before. I will let you know that the registration is attached to an email. So for a firm, you can have multiple people register, and that's fine. Next slide. When you have found a particular business opportunity that you're interested in, you need to carefully review the project summary. So this snip on the left kind of shows you an example of the information we provide. Like the project ID, that's the solicitation number. The project name, like what is this work? The date that the solicitation was issued. This next one is very important, the due date and time. I can't stress that, right? You've got a due date and time. The contact person. In solicitations and procurement, you need to make sure that you're only contacting the designated person that's listed on those documents or on this screen. So in, like, for instance, this case, you would only contact Amber. You would not want to contact your friend at Public Works or a project manager at Public Works. You're going to contact that person that's listed as the contact person for that solicitation. And then the other key thing is that you'll see in the very bottom row, we also provide all the applicable documents. And this is important because this will give you all the instructions, the scope of work, the requirements. So really critical to carefully review those documents. I think the most important tip I would give to anyone submitting a proposal is carefully reviewing, all the requirements and making sure you meet those requirements, and that it's very clear in your submission how you meet those requirements. All the forms that are required, complete those forms, right? Anything that's needed to be submitted, we try to be very transparent in what we're asking you to provide. And if you don't provide something, that could be a missed opportunity there. So just make sure you're carefully reviewing that. I would also note that most, not all, but most of our solicitations for RFPs and things like that are submitted electronically through Bid Express. But again, what's important is to pay attention to the submission instructions because they can vary depending on the type of solicitation. Another thing I want to mention is that when you find a project you're interested in, you want to register as a plan holder for it. And there's an option when you're looking at a project to register as a plan holder. You can see if you see on the middle of this page here, plan holders, where you can see where there's a prime or a sub or a supplier. You can designate the category, click on those. You can see other firms that are registered as a prime or sub, so they're interested in this project as a prime or sub. And that's a great opportunity to network, right? To maybe you're a subcontractor, so you want to see who's listed as a prime. Or maybe you're a prime that wants to engage with other subcontractors. So you could look at who is interested in being a subcontractor. So it's a great way to network, particularly for smaller firms, because there are a number of subcontracting opportunities. You don't have to necessarily just reach out to one prime as well. You could reach out to multiple prime and build a relationship there. Additionally, when you are registered as a plan holder, you'll be notified anytime we issue a notice or an addendum to that solicitation or bid. That's critical because, you know, we receive questions, and sometimes those questions can have a major impact on solicitation documents. Sometimes it moves the due date. Sometimes it, you know, clarifies scopes of work, or it can actually, you know, be a meaningful change to the documents and an impact proposal submission. So very important to make sure that you're up to date on any notices or addendum in a solicitation or bid that you're interested in. Next slide. We also have a Gov Delivery email that we can send out, and we currently have about 32,000 subscribers. A lot of firms probably just like you, people that are interested in doing business with Public Works and want to know about all of our current and upcoming opportunities. And so on our website, we have a box that looks just like this, where it says get updates, and you can enter your email address and be signed up. So this is a great resource as well. Next slide. And if everyone has their mobile phone, which I'm sure you do, you can get it out right now and scan this QR code. And this will take you to a link where you can see on the right-hand side, this is exactly what it would open up as. It's sort of our mobile version of our Do Business with Public Works. It allows you to sign up there for that Gov Delivery email. It has a link to register as a county vendor, and it has a link to the certification portal. It has the link to our Do Business with Public Works website to learn about all of our contracting opportunities. Also has a link on, you know, different kind of upcoming events that might be of interest to the public or you as vendors. So with that, I want to thank you for your attention to my presentation. This concludes it, and I wish you all success. And I'm also open to any questions if time allows.
We have time. We actually had a couple questions in the Q&A section, so I will have my colleague Hannah go ahead and start reading some of them to you.
Okay, one of the questions was, is this different from RAMP and the Angelino accounts?
Okay, and I think that means the certifications. And I will tell you at this time, it is different. There have been ongoing discussions about reciprocity across different public agencies. But at this time, we don't have like direct reciprocity. I mean, you can share that you have a certification, but Department of Economic Opportunity, which is a newer department and took over that function of certifications within the last 2 years, they will need to certify. So we do coordinate with RAMP, but our certification is different.
Okay, and we have one more question. Can you only quote one part of a project?
So it depends on how the solicitation is. If you only want to, if there's an RFP for a scope of work, and let's say you only can perform a component of it, that's an example of an opportunity for subcontracting. So that if you found a solicitation where you see that scope of work, you know, has maybe 4 or 5 components, and you can perform a component, you would want to register as a subcontractor and reach out to firms that are primes and see if you couldn't engage in a subcontract with them to provide that component of the scope of work. But when a submission of a solicitation comes in, it is typically just submitted by, you know, the prime firm that, you know, is going to sign the contract. But it's not uncommon, especially on public works projects, which are some of the, you know, construction projects, for instance, are quite large and expansive, or even our on-call professional services have many components in that scope of work. I'll tell you, it's not uncommon to see a number of subcontractors. So those are great ways that I know that in LA County and Public Works in particular, small businesses get a lot of business that way through subcontracting.
I think that was it. Yes, I'm just going to reiterate what you were saying, Rika. Yeah, for the certifications, the reason why there's different ones is because usually somewhere in the paperwork, we have a different definition of something. So I can confirm that those talks have been happening to try to find common ground on those differences. But at this point, we don't have exact reciprocity. For the city, for us, we do have on our website a PDF you can look at that will say, like, if you have this certification from this company, we'll give you this kind of, it's like I always think of it like an currency exchange kind of thing. Like you'll get, this in exchange for it. So there are some where there's crossover, but it's not direct each time. So it's very important. That's why I wanted you to all see all these different agencies that we all have. It's very similar, but it's also very different. And we have our own rules and we have our own certifications and we have our own processes. And so it's really good to be familiar with all of them. So thank you, Marika, so much. And hopefully we will find that common ground here any minute.
Absolutely. And I think, I would just add to that, Melissa, and I know it's the same with the city, right? And I'm sure as well with City of Long Beach and our other public agency partners, that, all of our groups that manage certifications, they are really, they do not just sort of leave people out there. There is really a lot of elbow to elbow support in that process. So I know it can be frustrating for firms that say, hey, I already got certified here, and now I have to get certified with you. But I know that our partners at DEO really work closely and make it as easy and painless as possible for you all. I mean, there are certain documents that you need to provide, but we really try to provide a lot of customer support for that process.
Similarly, yeah. There's, especially for the ones that have a financial incentive to them, we just want to make sure that people aren't sneaking in where they shouldn't be. So there is a certain amount of T crossing and I dotting. I'm sure we both have to take care of on our own ends. But for those of you in the attendee list, like, that is why they're a little bit different and why we ask for very specific things. So thank you again, Marika. I just wanted everyone to know that in the Q&A, Julie has entered a bunch of links that were in the presentation. So we're going to leave those up. Feel free to copy and paste them into whatever documents you have going or notes you're taking, but they will disappear at the end of the meeting. So get them while you can. So thank you, Marika. Yeah,
we have one more question.
Oh, we have a new question. Okay, cool.
If we have a question about a bid or our contract, who is the best in the office or person to contact?
So that point of contact, there was an earlier slide. And Melissa, I don't know, will you share the slides, or the slides also going to be shared with this group?
Yes.
Okay, so there is one of the earlier slides showed the project kind of summary, and in the project summary includes a contact person. And I can't stress that enough, that who is listed as a contact person is the only person you should be in contact with. Yeah.
Anyone else before we let Marika go? All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. And Julie for being here. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next presenter. It's a whole crew this time, but to start off, I'm going to introduce Daniel Han and Andrew Barrera from PACE and LA Procure. So please take it away.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Hello all, good evening. My name is Daniel Han, or Dan for short. I am the director of PACE Business. For those who do not know about PACE, PACE stands for Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment, but we like to consider ourselves a community economic development organization right here in the LA area, and we serve our small businesses and entrepreneurs throughout the greater Los Angeles area. Some of you who are here today might actually be our clients or customers, and if so, hello. And if those who are not, we definitely welcome you to definitely check out our website and our service offerings, but we will talk more about that shortly. So without further ado, next slide, And next slide, please. And as I do the quick introduction here, I brought a team here. We're going to give you all an opportunity to get to meet our small but mighty PACE procurement team. Andrew, Christina, and Jennifer. They'll all have an opportunity to share a little bit about themselves, but a little bit about what we wanted to share with you all today. So who is PACE? So as I shared, PACE is a community economic development organization. We pride ourselves in offering services in business development, employment, education, housing, and also addressing environmental challenges. So for example, weatherization, low income utility assistance. We also offer housing services, education. We offer early childhood educational services there. We do workforce development, and of course, why we're here today, we offer a slew of services from one-on-one counseling to events, workshops, trainings for our small businesses and entrepreneurs. Again, right here in the greater LA community. Next slide, please. So what is PACE Business? I like to put it into 4 key pillars that represents PACE Business, which is our team. One of those is business contracting services, which is the team that you are going to meet today. We also offer one-on-one small business counseling, anywhere from strategic planning to business planning to marketing, business development strategies, loan packaging, loan readiness. We also offer access to capital. Thankfully, one of our individuals today, Jennifer, she is not only puts on a procurement hat, business contracting services hat, but she also is an expert in the access to capital space and represents us as a loan officer of our CDFI small business lending arm that we offer here through PACE as well. So we'll talk a little bit about what those access to capital opportunities can mean or could be for businesses like yourself interested in pursuing contracting opportunities. Next slide. So just to continue and go a little bit deeper into business contracting services, just wanted to give you just a sense of the types of services that we offer. As I shared, we offer one-on-one technical assistance. We also offer matchmaking. In addition to that, we do workshops, trainings, and events. I'm going to bring in my colleague Andrew here just to give you a taste and flavor of the kinds of services that we offer through our programs here at PACE. If you're interested, we do have our websites at the bottom right there. There is pacelabdc.org and there's procurela.com, which is our city-based program that we offer for those interested in pursuing our procurement assistance program. Andrew, do you want to hop on and just say a few words about some of our contracting services?
Yes, so want to congratulate everybody that's here. So as Daniel had mentioned, one of the things that we do, we could basically handle almost every kind of business issue that you may have. And so we're very interested in if you have a situation or an opportunity to reach out, you can enroll with us either through the Procure LA program. We also operate what's called GoBiz. It's a state program through the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. But as you could see here under the technical assistance info here, we'll sit down with you. We'll help you design what I call a capture strategy in pursuing, sourcing, and securing contracts in the government sector, in the utility sector, and in the private sector as well. So you can see the more that we get to know about your individual business, we could tailor something very specific to your company. We want to know about your niche markets where you can expand. We also help develop capability statements. Is kind of like a business resume that we can target and market entities to go after. We'll help you with the ramp. That's the LA's vendor portal to register. And just like our colleague here a little while ago talked about LA County doing business with LA County, the portals are a wealth of information. And so she had mentioned about open opportunities, but I also would recommend that you look at closed opportunities for contract cycles, for potential partners. And you could also use the Freedom of Information Act in federal or the Public Records Act to get your hands on the winning proposal for the previous award. We could help you with small business certifications. If you have we could help you contract source. So if you had an RFP that you wanted to review, we could sit down and review it with you together. We can help guide you on how to develop a proposal for submission, including a bid budget. And, and then we have one of the things that we're looking to do, because we are a source for large construction companies and prime contractors that are looking for certain certified small businesses to be part of their bids. And so they post opportunities on our website, and which is gives you an opportunity to see what they're looking for. A subcontractor strategy on big projects is a very viable type of strategy you want to pursue. And then we have ongoing workshops. We have one coming up real soon with the Department of General Services. That's the California Department. We do routine with the city of LA and the county as well. So we have educational training sessions, and we can either do it in small groups or we could do it in large groups, and they're very well attended. We have an e-library that you can visit, and it covers all kinds, not just procurement, but almost every type of issue that you may have. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and pass that over to my next colleague.
Thank you, Andrew. And before we continue on, just one thing I wanted to share with this group is probably one question you have is what's the catch? How much does this cost? All of our services that we offer are complimentary. We are really proud to be partners of City of LA, County of LA, and along with the state of California. And we're able to offer our programs. Some of our programs that you may have heard of is, of course, Procure LA, which is our premier procurement program right here in the city of LA. We also offer business source centers. PACE actually operates 2 of those business source centers here in LA. But like we're able to offer these different slew of services through just through government funding and through our support from our family friends as well. So with that, the reason we were brought in today actually is to go a little bit deep into talking about insurance, one area of service that like we do provide technical assistance around. So I'm going to pull in my next colleague here, Christina, to talk about insurance. And after that, Jennifer, our loan counselor, also our procurement counselor, dual hat, she's going to come in and talk a little bit about our access to capital program opportunities that you all might be interested in as well. So without further ado, if you can go to the next slide. Thank you. Christina, it's all yours.
Yes, thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Andrew. And then welcome everyone. I see some familiar faces. So you're right. Some of them I've seen as, oops, where did the slides go?
Oh, 1 second, I'll come back up.
Okay, good, because I didn't memorize the slides.
There we go.
All right, thank you. You made me nervous for a second. So thanks, Melissa. But yeah, so yes, if we can go, okay, this is the slide. Yeah, so we were brought in to talk about the topic of insurance. So many of us know insurance, right? Because we know it from our personal lives. But one thing we wanted to bring our team to talk specifically about business insurance, but more importantly, how it comes about or how it's related with regards to procurement and contracting. So then why insurance, right? So we know that insurance is important with risk mitigation, financial protection, but I think more importantly, because it's required with a lot of the contracts that you've seen, the proposals that you've read, there's always a requirement that you have to be protected somehow. So first, you have insurance because it meets contract requirements. So most public and private contracts actually require some proof of insurance. before they award a project. So coverage such as like general liability, workers' compensation, auto insurance ensures that you're compliant with the owner general contractor requirements. So it really protects all parties involved. And then second, it's also compliance with a lot of the regulations. So whether it's federal, state, and local regulations. There are certain industries that we know, let's say construction, transportation, food services, healthcare, etc. They're legally required to maintain some specific coverages, and the coverages really depend on the contract, right? So I've seen some proposals, they'll say you need a general liability insurance of up to $1 million. So then, when you're looking at a proposal, in the beginning, you have to make sure that you look at that one requirement as well, and it's something that you can fulfill. And then third is meeting the requirements for the lenders and investors. So some financial institutions, investors, and other funding companies does require insurance as part of their due diligence process. So adequate insurance just shows that you're financially stable with your business. As I said, it's a risk mitigation strategy, and it really it really improves your eligibility for some loans and funding, which my colleague Jennifer will talk about a little bit later. And then it also protects your firm. Not only does it protect the other party, but also protects your firm and your people against the risk. So some insurance safeguards against unexpected events. So for example, we'll talk about insurance in the context of property damages, like lawsuits, injuries like workman's comp, and then client disputes. So having the right policies in place really minimizes your operational disruptions, and it really improves business continuity. So it's also, as I said, a form of risk mitigation. And then lastly, it just protects your bottom line, right? So because let's say something happens, if there's an accident that happens, a lawsuit or a cyber breach, we're always saying like, oh gosh, I hate paying insurance. But when there's actually some sort of incident where we can where we can use insurance, we thank ourselves for getting that type of insurance. So without insurance, it really jeopardizes the business, and then also insurance acts as a financial safety net and preserving your profits at the end. So before I go to the next slide, I just wanted to touch base with the team if there are any comments before I go to the next slide.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that sometimes different industries have nuances in insurance. And so like when you review any RFP or invitation to bid, there's usually a provision that requires specific types of insurance. So in addition to general liability or workers' comp, there could be employee liability, that your workers may be doing something on a site that needs to be protected, auto as well. For professional services, many times they'll ask you to do errors and omissions. That's for personal liability. We have a client that is applying for the sheriff's department here, and one of the things that came up there was personal and advertising injury, and they required $1 million coverage just on that particular source. And also because they were looking to a point of sale, the county required the provider that once the contract terminates, they need to keep them on for 2 years on their insurance coverage to make sure if something was happened, if post-contract award or termination of the contract, that something happened and somebody gets injured, either economically or otherwise. And then in construction, generally the limits are a little bit higher, $10 million. Sometimes auto for 5, workers' comp. And then they have a thing called excess liability. And excess liability is kind of for personal injury. So on top of workers' comp, if somebody gets injured on the job, or they get injured by like a disease, because maybe they're doing hazmat and somebody catches a disease. So there are some nuances. So if you get an opportunity, and you can put it under AI as well, and say, what are my insurance liabilities here under this contract opportunity? And they'll provide that for you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. So if you go to the next slide. Yeah, so thank you for that transition. So now, so Andrew talked a little bit about some of the insurances that we've seen, right? So when we've looked at proposals and contracts, these are some of the different types of insurance that we've seen that are required. So first is workman's comp. So basically the purpose of it is to protecting both the employees and the employers. And a lot of times what it covers are medical expenses, lost wages for employees that are insured in the job. And the employer liability if an employer and if an employee files a lawsuit that's related to the party. So typically it's needed if and it's legally required for most businesses with employees. So for an example would be, let's say a construction worker gets injured while lifting heavy materials. So they have their medical bills and their time off work that's covered by insurance, right? So that's the first one, workman's comp. And then we'll also talk about we also had spoken about general liability insurance, and then Andrew talked about excess and an umbrella policy as part of it. So the purpose really is to provide a broad protection. So general liability is something that we see all the time with contracts, but what it does is it provides a broad protection against claims of things like bodily injury, property damage, or advertising injury. So it covers some typical things that it covers would be, let's say if you have a slip and fall accident at your job or the office, damages to a property, and then we also have the extended coverage and umbrella or excess coverage, which increases your protection limit. So a lot of times you may have two. You may have the general liability, and then you may do some sort of umbrella or excess policy in order to cover, let's say, up to a certain amount, right? So who needs it? It's required for most vendor contracts, as we've talked about, public projects, and also some commercial leases. And then the other thing that we already had mentioned was something that's related to property. So these are the ones where we do protection against physical assets that are related to your business or project. So it may cover, damages to your building. It could be your materials. Or tools, right? Let's say if you have very expensive tools or equipment, so if there's any fire theft or any natural disasters, depending on your coverage, this may be something that a property insurance coverage is something that you may ask for. And so who needs it? If you're generally like a contractor, a developer, or business owner with extensive property or construction assets, right? So very expensive ones where, let's say if you have a machine that's like $100,000-$200,000, and then if it's a damage to it, then it really decreases your productivity, and then it may even stop work. And then the other one that's also mentioned is auto liability. So we are pretty familiar with that one. Covers any vehicles that are used for business purposes. And then who needs it? So any business that really drives or delivers. So if you're catering a lot of like food or even construction, if you're bringing people or materials or anything like that. So an example, as I said, would be a catering van that let's say if you hit another car en route to an event, so the auto liability may cover the damages. And then lastly would be professional services or design services. And these are, excuse me, insurance that protects service-based businesses. So if you're a consultant, let's say if you're doing something like in architecture, engineering, accounting, or any sort of creative firm like marketing or branding. So this is the type of insurance that you may try to get. And an example would be, let's say if an engineer's design error leads to a construction delay, then this quote unquote errors and omission, E&O or errors and omission insurance may cover the financial impact of it. So before I go to the next slide, I wanted to see if there are any comments from the team.
Yeah, so this is Jennifer speaking. And then so for, I think a lot of the audience here, and they might do provide a service, and then, or even they do service contracts for a city or for county, they will think, oh, I'm well covered, right? And then their RFP is not necessarily have specific requirements, but sometimes you want to think about that. For example, if you're a catering company, you might, for that particular event, all of a sudden you may need, other than the 3 typical vehicles that you use, maybe that would be a big event that you have to hire or rent several other additional vehicles to deliver the products, right? So for that, so you have to think about that you are using a non-owned autos for this particular events, especially when you just have a larger than usual contract. So for those, your regular auto policy might not cover it. So you have to think about, and the person who leased the vehicle to you, or the leasing company of the vehicle, or you rent it from, let's say, a AAA or any leasing agency, there's only maybe when you go to sign the lease for the vehicle, it's only personal use. And then what happened if during the business transit, this is can have something happen, and that regular insurance may not cover. So for those, when you have a contract larger than your usual scope, and then you use additional other non-owner operate vehicles, autos, non-owned autos, so you might consider to add a temporary policies on top of that. So especially for the audience here, they all like getting contracts or soon to get more contracts. So you have to think about all aspects from that particular contract. So is my regular insurance coverage is sufficient? Do I need to think about any additional risk to be covered? And if you do events, sometimes the venue will ask you to give a certificate of insurance, COI, and then you might not have it. And some of the venue may want you to add the venue owner on the COI for additional payee. So all those things that you have to just, we urge you to think about it more. When you have a contract, that don't just think, okay, I have all my policy in place, I'm good to go. So when you get additional contracts, additional POs, and there's something to think about, that am I covered? That just think outside of the regular scope a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's a great point. So for example, we had recently seen a bid interest form that came from for FIFA, right? So one of them was for VIP and shuttle services and for drivers. So, that would require, as Jennifer had mentioned, a special type of insurance that may not be covered by your regular insurance. So it would be something that's extra. Okay, so let's go to the last slide on insurance. So these are just the other types of insurance that we've seen that they may not necessarily be required, but they're just, I would say, like icing on the cake, right? So for example, first one would be cyber risk. So these are the ones that we've seen, I would say, like fairly not recently, but it's one of the newer types of insurance. But the purpose is really to protect your business from losses that are due to anything that's related to cyber, either like a cyber attack, a data breach, hacking, or anything like that, right? So what it does is that it covers any stolen customer data, compromise like credit card or anything like that, ransomware, etc. And then the second one would be employment practices liability, or something called EPLI. And the purpose is to cover claims made by employees that are related to workplace practices. So for example, it covers things like wrongful termination, harassment, discrimination, or anything that is related to promotions or failure to promote. So an example would be, let's say you have a former employee that sues you for discrimination. So this type of insurance may cover the legal defense and any potential settlement costs that's related to it. And then the other one would be, we sort of covered it earlier, it's hired and non-owned auto coverage. So the purpose is to extend the auto insurance to vehicles that are not owned by your business but may be used for work. So let's say you have an employee that is driving their own car to deliver goods and services to an accident. So this coverage may protect the employee, the company, from liability. And then we also talked about this is an interesting one, which is called pollution liability. So I've never seen it before, but but it's very, very specific, right? So it protects against environmental damage which are claims caused by your business operations. So one example that I saw that's related to this is, let's say you're a contractor and your work causes some sort of fuel leak on the site. So pollution liability may cover the cleanup and any party's damages from any third-party damages. And then some other ones are the liquor liability. So that one is very specific too. Let's say if your business manufactures, serves, or sells alcohol, let's say that would be for any food establishments. There's also one on marine risks, which is inland and ocean marine. So I don't know if any of you do this, but very interesting. It covers any goods, services, tools, equipment in transit on land or sea. So that could be for anything that's related to trade. And then key person insurance, I wanted to go to that one before the COI. So a key person insurance, it really protects your business. Let's say you have an owner who passed away or is disabled, and it's a key person or a key employee or an executive. So what it does is it replaces the lost income. It covers recruitment costs and anything related to some sort of business discontinuity that happens because of that key person that's not longer there. And then I just wanted to go back to the certificate of insurance, as Jennifer had mentioned. So basically, it's just a document that proves you have the required coverage, right? So let's say it's required by, let's say if you're doing an event. So this is mostly for event production. So if you're doing event production, and you may have clients or property managers that that may require that COI before you start any work. So any comments from the team?
Well, the only thing that I wanted to add is on the pollution. So that often happens, like we had somebody working for the housing authority for the city, applying for that contract, and they had to deal with replacing the roofs. So it's kind of like remediation or hazmat type of work where you need to control the pollution, so to speak, and the hazardous material from the general public. And so that's what that kind of work, and mostly in construction, but sometimes some of the big manufacturers that are putting out pollution in their haystacks, or so to speak, those are other areas that that need to be mitigated.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. And now I wanted to turn it over to Jennifer, who'll talk about access to capital.
Sure, thank you. So I think it's one thing we're linked to what Christina just mentioned, the key person insurance. In some situations, the lender actually want to see as one of the funding conditions, they want to see there is a key person insurance because you are the assets of your company. You're the most critical assets of your company. Or for some crazy reasons or unforeseeable reasons that you're not there, then the assets of the company is gone. So for the lender's point of view, you know, this will jeopardize the future cash flow. Potential cash flow generating assets. So that's why they will want a key person insurance to be in place. This is actually some of the requirement by lenders. So thank you so much for Christina for the transitions. And Melissa, how much time do we have? We want to respect any of the other speakers if we need. How much time do we have for our session?
We are getting close to the wire, but we have a little bit of wiggle room. So maybe another 5 minutes?
Sure.
Okay.
So I am, as Dan introduced, that I have the passion to be one of the in the procurement field. So that's why I'm part of the procurement team. So, but I'm also my focus also, or my experience is really on lending. So can you go to the next slide, please? So PACE, as Dan explained that we are nonprofit organizations, but on the other hand, we also have PACE is also a CDFI. CDFI means Community Development Financial Institutions. So all CDFIs out there is basically mission-driven lenders. We try to most of the missions are just keep jobs locally, maintain job locally, and create job locally. And PACE is one of the CDFIs. So we try to we understand that when a customer any company that they get a contract, they might have a need in surge in working capital. So we try to understand that, and then if the regular term loan sometimes may not help that, because as many of the audience here knows that term loans, basically you take out a loan, then you make them principal and interest payment every month, right, throughout a certain period of time. So PACE is one of the very few CDFIs out there. We understand the contract needs sometimes have the surge, but sometimes you may flood with cash because the project owner or the prime just pay you the fund for the work you perform in the last 1 month. So for that, so we have a PACE actually offer a revolving line of credit, and this is very unique that basically for CDFIs, and you probably, if whoever you bank with, the primary banks that you may offer offer you a line of credit, but we are one of the very few CDFIs offer you a line of credit. So the good thing of line of credit is basically this is a business credit card, but with lower interest rate. And then you can just make the interest payment every month. And then at the you don't need to make a principal payments as required, just like term loans, but you can make the principal payments when you have available fund. So Pace have this products, and for new customer, we do probably we do up to 50,000, but for repeat customers, and we actually can do up to 500,000. And then this is a very unique products, and then it's will help you really to smooth to tailor to fit your contract needed, because you have the surge, or you have the fund coming in all of a sudden. So this is one of the unique product. And the second unique product is called CFAP loan. This is more related to construction companies, and then especially for contracts have a span of over several months, and then you need the quite a bit of surge in the beginning for to acquire equipments, or to especially make payrolls. And if you have to use union workers, you have to make payrolls every month, every week, and then but you probably won't be able to get your fund after you submit the pay up the next week, next month, and then you take another 30 days. Probably you have almost 6 to 8 weeks of payroll you have to upfront from the business. So for this, a CFAP is tailored to that type of company situations where company have a contract awarded, but then based on the past historical performance, it's a little bit the historical cash flow is cannot support the funds that you will be needed. So we have a unit structure because contract-based financing is not a factoring, but it's similar to factoring that we actually fund the loan to a funds control agents, and they will make all the payments for the direct labor and direct material, but all the proceeds from the projects have to go back to the trust account and make payments to Pace before they distribute any profit to it. But this is to help that small business that they got awarded a contract much larger than what they used to do, and then the historical cash flow would not support this type of loan amount. So for those, we more than happy to explain to you further. And then I guess our next page will have our contact infos. If I know this is a very unique products, but feel free just email me, and I'm more than happy to set up a time to explain those details to anyone.
Thank you, Jennifer. If we can just go to the last slide here, just in short, I know the flyers right there were, or like the images of those different loan products were like a little too small and fine print. But if you go to our website, pacelabdc.org, we have a section around financing. If you go in there, you can find all of the information, including more details about our different loan products. Also, just wanting to share our contact information here as well. Both Andrew, Christina from our business contracting services, and then of course our Jennifer Whelan, who not only represents our CDF5 PFC program, the Pace Finance Corporation, but also our business contracting services too. On that right side, the QR code, that is if you're interested in signing up with our Pace online community, you are more than welcome to scan that QR code and come join us and get access to our online resources and email subscription. Also, if you're interested in our one-on-one services, which I have seen questions about here through the Q&A, you can please go directly to our www.procurela.com. Again, that's procurela.com. If you go in there, there's a section for apply. If you apply through procurela.com, that is our business assessment. That's our initial business assessment that we like to do with anyone and everyone that is interested in utilizing our one-on-one services. So thank you all so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Thank you so much, Dan. I noticed there were some questions in the Q&A that Dan has been responding to. There's one left about, are you going to respond to that one too, or should we?
If we have 1 minute, because I do think this is a worthwhile question that like we can provide a live response to, but I can read it to the group, and if the team can just provide a quick response. Sorry, like I know you have a lot of things like right after this. All right, so here's the question here, team. Do we have to apply for insurance when we're bidding on a project, or do we get insurance once we win one?
Well, I'll jump in here. So clearly you should have insurance already on your business, and in whatever industry you're in, you should have your standard insurance, whatever that may be. However, if you're asking for increased dollar amounts, then what you're gonna do, there's gonna be a short window between the award, the contract signing, and at the time of contract signing, they're gonna want to see a certificate of insurance for whatever the dollar amount may be. So generally, so the answer to the question is no, you don't need that higher limit at this time. However, if you get awarded the contract, then you're gonna need to execute that that coverage.
Yeah, and just to quickly add to that one, there's some industries that are pretty hard to get insurance for. I had a specific client who was dealing with children, and so he had his he actually had won the contract, but it was very, and he had the general liability insurance. However, as Andrew had mentioned, it needed to be a certain amount. We had a difficult time looking for insurance for him. So then if you know that the industry that you're in is a little bit difficult to get insured, then I think it's worthwhile to kind of look beforehand and say, okay, like should I look for different insurance companies before I get, just in case I get the contract awarded.
Right. And that's something, one of the reasons why we had you guys come in tonight is that is one of the things you can help with. So as you guys are looking at bids, as you are completing RFPs, if you're looking at these sorts of things and you see these requirements, don't get overwhelmed by them. Call up or email PACE and explain the situation you're in, and they are there to help you find the resources for those needs that you have for that bid. So thank you very much, guys. As I said before, the slides will go out to all of the participants, so they will get all of this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so we will move right into the next one. Who do we have up next? Alex Tomasitis from Metro.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Alex Tomasitis, Senior Certification Officer with LA Metro, and I will be presenting on Metro's certification programs. It's important to note before I get into the presentation that Metro's certification programs and procurements and vendor portal are all separate from the City of LA's, the County of LA's, or any other agencies in the area. All of Metro's solicitations and information are all contained within its own portal, and I'll have the links to that within the presentation. Next slide. So first I'll talk a little bit about the benefits of becoming certified. The small business certifications at Metro are similar to professional certifications in that they document a special capability or status that will help you compete in the marketplace, and it increases your visibility to prime contractors. Metro has a goal of attaining 48% SBE participation by the year 2028. And in order for prime contractors to meet these goals, they need to subcontract with you small businesses in order to meet those goals. And you have to be certified in order to be eligible for those subcontracting opportunities. It also levels the playing field by providing small businesses owned and controlled by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals a fair opportunity to compete for federally or non-federally funded transportation contracts. Next slide. Okay, so this slide talks about the eligibility requirements for LA Metro's small business enterprise certification. The business must be independent and organized for profit. The personal net worth of the majority owner or owners must be less than 2.047 million. This excludes any assets held in retirement and excludes any equity in your primary residence. The annual gross receipts of the last 3 years of your business must be less than 31.84 million. The qualifying owner or owners must be in control of management and daily business operations, and the 51% owner or owners must be economically disadvantaged individuals as demonstrated by the personal net worth. Next slide. As Melissa and Marika were talking about a little bit earlier, we are actively working towards establishing reciprocity between various agencies in the area. Metro has successfully established SBE reciprocity with BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit. This means that if you are SBE certified with BART, you are eligible to bid or propose on Metro projects as a SBE, as if you were already certified with LA Metro, and vice versa. And we hope to establish more reciprocity in the future as we continue these discussions. And next slide. Metro has a local small business enterprise designation, which is separate from other LSBE designations from the city or county of LA. Metro's LSBE preference program allows for a 5% bonus credit on your bid or proposal evaluation. And in order to qualify for the LSBE preference program, firms must first be SBE certified with Metro and headquartered within the county of Los Angeles for at least 6 months prior to requesting LSBE designation. And headquartered means that the firm physically conducts and manages all of its operations from a location in the county. When you apply for SBE certification for the first time, this is something that we will evaluate your application for concurrently. If you are already SBE certified with Metro and you want to check your LSBE designation status or have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information will be at the end. Next slide. And due to the changes issued by the US DOT at the beginning of this month, which substantially changes the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise program, we will be skipping this slide. We hope to provide more information about the new requirements for DBE certification soon. Okay, and the Disabled Veterans Business Enterprise Certification, which is managed by the California Department of General Services. Metro has an MOU with California DGS and a 3% goal of contracting to disabled veterans business enterprises. So if you are already DVBE certified with California DGS, you're eligible for those procurements with Metro. If you're not already certified with DGS and you think you may be eligible, please be sure to submit an application. Next slide. This is some important information. There is no cost to apply for DBE, SBE, or LSBE certification at Metro, and only one application is required to apply for all three. If there is a specific solicitation that you're interested in submitting a bid or proposal on, you must have the DBE or SBE certification by the bid or proposal due date. We get a lot of inquiries where small businesses reach out and ask, oh, this solicitation has a bid due date of tomorrow. Can I get certified by then? And unfortunately, that's normally impossible. Our average processing time is right now is around 30 days, but it can range up to 90 days. But we will expedite your application if you are bidding or proposing on a Metro contract. You just need to indicate that within your application and we will expedite it. We also recommend that even if there's no Metro solicitations that you're interested in right now at this moment, it's still a good idea to have that certification in your pocket so that if a opportunity does come up, you're already ready for it. And if there's any questions that I don't answer here, there's our phone number and email at the bottom of the screen here. It's 213-922-2600 option 1 or certificationunit@metro.net. And then on the last slide, I have some additional resources that I'm going to talk a little bit more about. I know the focus of this webinar is LA 28, and I wanted to point out to you in the top right link is LA Metro's LA 28 playbook. Metro is planning to have a lot of opportunities available for small businesses for contracting around the Olympics. And it's so vast that I wasn't able to summarize it in this presentation. But if you're interested, you can go to metro.net/2028 games to read about LA Metro's playbook for the 2028 games and LA Metro's participation and part within the whole operation. And top left link, Metro's vendor portal, business.metro.net. This is where you can go to register as a vendor, to view our open solicitations, view awarded solicitations, see any upcoming events. The next link is where you can find the application for certification is metro.gov2g.com. That's where you'll go to apply for DBE or SBE certification. The next links are the databases. If you want to search for a DBE or SBE firm, you'll go to those queries. And finally, the Census NICS website. So I think we have time for some questions if there are any in the chat or if anyone
There's just one that's asking if we can put up the contact page again. So if you can go back one, just so people have another minute with that. And then don't forget, you are going to get these in the mail or in the email. So I think with the PDF, those links should be linkable. Otherwise you can copy and paste them into your browser to go look at them. Does anyone have any questions for Alex about any of the projects, any of the certification things that they're doing? Yeah, one of the things I was off camera, but I chuckled at that you were presenting was the need to be ahead of the game. The rushes are very hard. And honestly, even, I don't know if you have the same problem, but for us, we can't really go through the process faster. We're really dependent on how quickly you reply to our requests for documents, how accurate those documents are. A rush for us is really just someone who gets moved to the front of the queue because there is a bid closing. And so it can still take a considerable amount of time. So keep that in mind when you start looking around. The good news is, even though we have different certifications, I think most of us ask for the same documents most of the time. So once you have your documents lined up, your tax returns, your leases, your all those sorts of things, you should be able to go through additional processes fairly quickly. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Okay. No more questions for Alex? All right. Well, thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate that information. Like she said, a lot of these LA 28 contracts are not going to be maybe what you think each time. The most obvious answer, it's not always LA 28, the nonprofit. There's a lot of us that are going to have opportunities for you in the years to come. One of which is our next speaker, Michelle Wilson from the city of Long Beach, which, as we covered at the opening, has quite a few venues, right? And quite a few events happening over there. So Michelle, go ahead and take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for having me. I'm Michelle Wilson. I'm the purchasing agent here with the city of Long Beach. And yes, like Melissa said, lots of opportunity will be coming to the city of Long Beach for the Olympics, because we are hosting quite a few events here. I am also with Margaret, so I'm going to have her introduce herself first because our presentation is kind of mixed in together. Go ahead, Margaret.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Margaret Talamantes. I'm the Labor Compliance Officer for the city, and I will be presenting after Michelle. But nice meeting you all.
All right, thank you. So we're going to go over basically how to do business with the city of Long Beach. And if you could go to the next slide, please. So the goal of our presentation today is just to provide you an overview of the city of Long Beach's contracting process and how you can get involved. We'll start off by sharing information on our various procurement methods and the process associated with it. We'll go over our licensing requirements. Margaret will talk about certifications, and then we'll talk about our Long Beach local preference program as well. And then most importantly, which you have heard from everyone tonight, we'll talk about how to get registered so that you can get the information you need to be able to do business with the city. And our procurement platform is called Long Beach Buys. So you will hear me referring to Long Beach Buys, but that is our procurement platform that we are asking for you to be registered on. And you can go to the next slide. And so before we get into kind of the details, I just want to quickly cover what our core values are here in Long Beach and our procurement process, and really what guides our process. And this is to ensure that all of our purchases provide the best quality services for our residents and the businesses that we procure with. So first, we aim to be results driven. Second, we want to ensure that we are getting the best value with each purchase. We also aim to be service oriented, efficient, competitive, fair, and equitable. And lastly, we want to make sure we're always being transparent. This is kind of one way we do that, to make sure that vendors are just aware of the process. That's one of our kind of guiding principles of transparency. Okay, you can go to the next slide. All right, so I'm going to quickly kind of just go over the contracting process. You can go to the next slide. But before we do that, I'm sure you guys are all curious on what the city buys. So I will talk about that quickly. At a high level, we buy a lot. I'll just say that. We purchase goods and services that help us deliver programs and services to the residents of Long Beach. We have a few examples here just to give you a better idea. We have goods ranging from auto parts and vehicles, printing goods, supplies for construction, natural resources, office supplies, apparel, list goes on and on. We also purchase services. So non-professional services are things that we clearly define tasks such as like janitorial work, equipment rental, delivery, or security services. And we do definitely foresee with the Olympics, we will be procuring lots of goods and lots of services. And then we have professional services, which are for all sorts of things, including construction management, social services, and specialized consultants. And again, of course, this list is going to grow substantially with the upcoming Olympics. All right, you can go to the next slide. All right, so I'm just going to talk about, we have basically two types of purchases. So we have a small dollar purchase and a formal solicitation. So in October of last year, we increased the threshold for small dollar purchases from $25,000 to $40,000, which means that any good or service under $40,000 is considered a small dollar purchase in the city of Long Beach, and does not go through the formal solicitation process. Instead, city departments will reach out directly to vendors to request quotes. And in order to be considered for these small purchases, you will need to select the yes option when registering your company in Long Beach Buys. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in the presentation. And then for purchases over $40,000, we require a formal solicitation. And so we will need to go through a competitive procurement process for that. These opportunities will be listed on Long Beach Buys, and you will need to submit a proposal to be considered for the contract. And so we have three solicitation types. We have the ITB, which is the invitation to bid, and vendors are selected based on the lowest price. Then we have requests for proposals, which we call the RFPs. That is where vendors will be selected based on not only pricing, but their proposal content. So it's more of an evaluation criteria attached to that one. And then we have our RFQ, which is our request for qualifications, where vendors will be pre-qualified in order to do future work. The small dollar purchases, which are the ones I mentioned under $40,000, those are pretty straightforward. So we'll spend a little more time talking about the solicitations in the next slide. So if you could go to the next one, thank you. So basically our formal solicitation process has 4 stages. During the first stage, the bid or RFP goes live and is posted on Long Beach Buys. During this time, you will be able to review the scope of work, the requirements, insurance, and other relevant materials. At the same time, we'll kick off the question and answer period, and this is when the city accepts questions specific to the solicitation. This happens via email, although sometimes we do host meetings where we have a question and answer session as well. We also will have pre-bids or site visits potentially. These can be mandatory or optional, and can be virtual or in person, but you want to make sure you review the bid document to see that you don't miss any of the mandatory meetings that happen prior. And so up to this point, you've submitted any questions you've had, you attend the pre-bid meeting or the info session, and you submit your proposal. Now, after that, it's time for the city to review all the submittals during the 3rd stage, which is our evaluation and intent to award stage. At this point, the city will select the proposals that best meet the criteria that was outlined in the RFP. Once that has been determined, we enter a final stage of our process, which is the approval and contracting stage. This is where we negotiate the final terms and award the contractor. And so that's basically the 4 stages of the procurement process, the formal solicitation process. All right, go to the next slide. All right, I think Margaret, you're up.
All right, hello everyone. If I could go ahead and get the next slide. Let's see here. Next slide. Oh, actually,
that's just our business license slide. I just had this in here so that everybody can see the requirements after, but we don't need to go over it in detail. But basically, you will need a business license if you are actually awarded a contract within the city of Long Beach. Okay, go ahead.
All right, okay. So I'm going to talk briefly today about our Long Beach Small Business Enterprise Certification Program, or LBSPE. This is an internal certification that was created to support our small, very small, and local small business program ordinance. This program was created with the intent of increasing contracting opportunities for these businesses so that they can build experience and gain a foothold in government contracting. This is accomplished by assigning a project-specific subcontracting goals to some of our procurement opportunities. For these procurements, prime contractors must commit to subbing out to a combination of Long Beach certified small, very small, and local small businesses to meet the assigned goal. If the prime is unable to meet the goal, they must show good faith efforts that they attempted to do so, and part of those good faith efforts include direct outreach to our LBSBEs. The key point here is that the prime contractors can only fulfill their goal if they use contractors that have the LBSBE certification. So it's for this reason that we highly encourage businesses to apply for our LBSBE certification, regardless if you already have a specific county, state, or other federal certification. This is a free certification and it's renewable every 2 years. The certification is attained over Long Beach Buys, which is the system that Michelle mentioned a little bit ago. The system will take you through some pre-qualification questions to determine preliminary eligibility. You do not need to be located in the city of Long Beach to obtain this certification. The city utilizes the SBA Small Business Administration table of small business size standards to verify business size per North American industry classification codes, either by the number of employees or revenue, depending on the codes that you utilize in your application. In addition to meeting the size standards, you must meet the eligibility criteria from the California Department of General Services, which include independently owned and operated, not dominant in your field of operation, principal office located in California, owners must reside in California, and your business must be a for-profit business. Next slide, please. Okay, the certification is the only certification offered by the City of Long Beach. However, Long Beach Buys provides vendors with the opportunity to identify their business in a multitude of other classifications and certifications. Vendors are able to self-classify themselves as local, HUD Section 3, women-owned, minority-owned, LGBTQ-owned, disability-owned, and service-disabled-owned. They can also document any state or other federal certifications, such as being a small or veteran-owned business. The City of Long Beach always encourages the use of small, diverse businesses, so recognizing yourself will help assure you that you will be in search results within Long Beach Buys when contractors are looking for subs. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I'll do a quick run through of how to navigate within Long Beach Buys and the LBSBE application process. Once you're logged in, you can see in the landing page, you're going to see a tab, and where that arrow is pointing LBSBE, you're going to click on that, and you will come to the acknowledgement message that is addressing everything that I mentioned here today about our SBE program and qualification requirements. Once you've read through that, go ahead and select I acknowledge at the bottom. And then next slide, please. Okay, then you'll be directed to the application itself. So please complete this application in full and to the best of your ability to ensure that we have all the information needed to qualify your business. If you need assistance or clarification with some of the questions, there may be a blue question mark button next to it, and you can click on that question mark for a more in-depth explanation of what is needed. Once you've completed the application, click the Save and Continue button at the bottom. Next slide, please. Okay, once you have finished the application and you have met the necessary requirements, you will receive this notice on how to add certifications that you currently possess. Getting to this page of the application has met the preliminary qualifications and your application is pending city staff approval. Please allow 2 to 3 business days for city staff approval, and you will receive an email with a PDF of your certification. Next slide. Okay, so that's all I have for my presentation. If you have any questions at any time, our email box is sve@longbeach.gov. And I wanted to thank you for your time today to learn more about business opportunities with the city of Long Beach. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to you, Michelle, for the remaining of the presentation.
Thank you. I'm going to talk quickly about our local preference program. I'm assuming all of you are not located in Long Beach because since this is LA based, but I will just quickly go over it just in case. So we do have a local preference program, and it's really designed to reduce barriers for our local and small businesses. And in order to be considered a local vendor in Long Beach, you must have a place of business in the city of Long Beach and a Long Beach zip code, and you need to have a valid Long Beach business license. So we do apply it to all our solicitation types. So we apply it to our bid. We give Long Beach vendors a 10% discount on their bid price. However, we do pay the full amount of the contract. It's more of a kind of a phantom discount that we give. And then on RFPs, which is we evaluate on a 100-point scale. So you submit a proposal and you're evaluated by a panel. You're given a score. If you say you end at 80%, if you're a local vendor, you will get extra credit points. So if you are a residential business, you will get 5 extra credit points. If you are a non-residential brick and mortar, you will get 10 extra credit points on top of your score. And then lastly, we apply it to our small dollar purchases. So that's anything under $40,000 where the vendor is just supplying a quote. You will get a 10% discount on that as well. So that's our local preference program. And you can go to the next slide. And this again, just to show you, we did change from 25,000 to 40,000. It's been a year already. And this was really to just give our smaller businesses more opportunities so they don't have to do a full solicitation. They just have to submit quotes. In order to be in our system, that's probably the most important part of this slide, is just to let you know again to make sure you register in Long Beach Buys, because departments do call us for those small dollar purchases to see if we have vendors that have what they're looking for. So even if you don't see a formal solicitation that where we are procuring something that you have in your business, that doesn't mean that we won't be soon, and that doesn't mean it won't be a small dollar purchase as well. So getting registered is really important. Okay, next slide. Okay, and so for the last part, I'm just going to show you a little bit about Long Beach Buys, which is our procurement portal, which again, if that's the only thing you leave with today is to register in that system, that would be amazing. All right, so you can go to the next slide. All right, so we went over the formal stages of the solicitation process. And again, the key takeaway is for you to be able to be in Long Beach Buys so that you're able to propose on these opportunities. There are a lot of new features that you and the public can access without even needing to register, like all the bid and opportunity details are there. But of course, if you want to respond to a proposal, you actually need to be in the system and registered. Or if you want the departments to be able to find you for those quotes, you need to be registered in the system. Registration is completely free. All right, next slide. Similar to some of the presentations earlier, you do need to make sure you register your business and attach the appropriate codes to what you sell. So like the commodity codes, or we have what we call NIGP codes. So you select those codes. You can select as many as you want, but it basically talks about what your business type is. And that's how we know to notify you. So register your business, make sure you're picking the NIGP codes that relate to your business, and then you will get all of the correspondence about any upcoming solicitations that we may be having. All right, next slide. And this is just a new slide we've put into our presentation that kind of puts everything Olympic related in one place. So we do have our link, which you guys will get when you get this presentation, to the Long Beach Buys portal. And then also we've put the LA28 supply registration portal link on here as well. And then Ramp LA, which also is another place that I think is important to go if you want to get information about what's happening with the Olympics. So I know all of these have been talked about tonight, but we have it all in one place also because we're definitely looking to kind of cross market and make sure that all of our vendors, you know, are able to get the opportunities that are forthcoming. All right, next slide. And then lastly, this is just our information. So if you ever want to reach out, if you have general questions about how to register, about Margaret's small business enterprise program, about business licensing, anything you would need to know about doing business with the city of Long Beach, all the contact information is here. And we are willing and available to support. And then next slide. And then one more, if you can go to the next one. We did condense this presentation to do it as quick as possible. We know you had a full agenda today, but every month we do a webinar that is open to anybody who wants to attend. We call it our Doing Business with the City webinar. We do it every third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. And so the next one we will be having is November 20th. And then we talk a little bit in more detail about everything that we kind of sped through tonight. And we also typically have a special guest that talks about upcoming procurements. So we have one of our departments will come and talk about their upcoming procurements. And actually, in November, we're going to have our city manager's office come and do a presentation specifically about the Olympics. So good timing. So if you do want to attend that, you can, when you get this presentation, you're welcome to sign up and join that webinar. And that completes our presentation, and we are happy to answer any questions. And I have not been monitoring the chat, so I don't know if any came in, but please let me know.
There's definitely a couple, and
okay.
We encourage anyone else to ask any questions you have. Hannah, do you want to read them or you want me to?
I can read them. So the first question we have is, how long does it take from when the bid closes and the contract is awarded?
It just depends. Once the bid closes, we call, well, it depends. So if it's a bid, an ITB, where it's just based on price alone, then that is pretty quickly determined who the lowest bidder is. We will do a notice of intent, which is where we publicly say who's won the bid. And then depending on if it needs to go to city council for approval, depending on how much it is for, then it would have to go to council, and then we would enter the contracting phase right after that approval from council. If it doesn't need to go to council, as soon as the NOI is posted and the protest period ends, which is 5 days, then the department is able to start the contracting process.
And we have one more. Can we get the information for getting a Long Beach business license?
Yes, it actually was in the presentation. It's the slide we didn't actually talk about, but the information is in there, and it kind of spells out the different types of the business license types that we have, how you can obtain them. And then again, you don't need a Long Beach business license to bid or to submit a proposal. You only need the business license once you actually enter into the contract and start doing the work in Long Beach.
I think that's all for Long Beach.
All right, that was easy. Thank you very much for having us.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you so much, Michelle and Margaret. Oh, don't go to that one yet. We'll just leave it here for a minute. We were a little behind and now we're a little ahead. So we're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute break before we get into the closing part of the evening. So if I can see everybody back at 6:05, and we will pick it up now you've got a brief view of what the homework's gonna be. But we'll go over that and see if there's any other questions you guys have for us. And we'll see you back in about 5 minutes. Thank you. All right, got about it's 6:05 now. If you have run off to grab water or run to the restroom and you can hear me, please come back so we can finish up this evening. It looks like we will be getting out of here just a tiny bit early. So hopefully that is good news, but we're going to open it up as well to some questions. But before I get into the homework assignment, which you did see briefly, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you so much for being here and especially for participating. I know the homework assignments can seem a little bit silly, but there is a point to them, not just to learn something new from them, but to also show you, give you some actual experience doing the intro speeches, introducing yourself to us, having some fun with it, especially going over the venues today. So I just want to say thank you for participating, for doing the homework that you were asked to do. We really do appreciate it, and we hope that you're getting something out of it as you do it. So with that said, I will go ahead and have them advance the slide to the homework for tonight. So we've talked a lot about the Olympics, but the other two big events that are coming up before that are the World Cup and the Super Bowl. One is coming up next year in 2026, the other in 2027. And as you can probably guess, tomorrow presenters will reflect this a little bit. So it is good to know about these programs. We would like you to look up where the World Cup is happening, how many games are happening, when is the opening match, and what is their procurement website address? That one's a little tricky. And then for the Super Bowl, similarly, where is it going to be? When is it going to be? And what is their procurement website address? In particular, when you look at those sites, I want you to look, they have different information on them. They're not identical, but they do have a similarity. And I want to see if any of you catch it because it has to do with one of the speakers tomorrow night. So when you look at the contact information, when you look at the programs, I want you to see what you see that is the same and similar or what is different while you're looking up the other kind of more basic information. So that is your homework assignment for tonight. It is a little bit early, but I wanted to open up the floor and see if anybody has any questions about what you've seen, anything for us while we're here. We still have a few people signed on, but we have a hand raised. Hold on one second. Ram.
Hey, Melissa, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, appreciate everything you guys are teaching us. So my business is, I don't know if you remember, I provide yoga classes, my yoga network, and we've been doing yoga at like different hotels and things like that. And I don't know where I'm going to fit in at all within this Olympic event. You know, I don't know if the city is going to need anything, any of the services that I provide, like if there's going to be, you know, any kind of like wellness events or services, or, you know, whether I should be directly trying to contact the teams themselves or even in the city. You know, do you think I have any place in this, you know, as a service business? You know, I'm not really like a construction person or doing marketing or, you know.
I get this question, I get similar questions before, even not related to the Olympics, but to the city in general. And the answer is you just never know. The city of Los Angeles has like what 35, 40 departments with all varying degrees of things. You have to remember, we also have a zoo, we have, you know, we have a mayor with a very serious homeless initiatives going on. We don't know what kind of programs they're going to want to put into place. I don't know if they're going to need shampoo vendors for homes or yoga instructors for classes. We don't know until it comes out because each department manages their own programming. When it comes to LA 28, if you're doing hospitality stuff, you know where all the venues are now. So you could look at the venues that are, or the hotels and things that are around those locations. I would not be surprised. I can't say I'm sure something would happen, but I would not be surprised if there were events like this. I just don't know that we in particular are going to have them that are LA 28 related. There may also be, I mean, the city has wellness programs for employees. There's a lot of different things out there, so it can't hurt. You're not going to see as many opportunities as, say, a concrete vendor, right? That's just not going to happen. But that doesn't mean there aren't going to be any. So the best thing to do is look at take what you're learning here, look at what's online, look at the bids, look in the history, like you learned the first night looking through RAMP at previous bids and previous RFPs that have gone out to see if there's anything that looks similar to what you do, because they may have something like that again, or maybe even that exact one may come up for renewal at some point. So never say never, be prepared. But you're gonna, because it's not as highly desired, like not desired, but it's not a big an industry like a construction company would be. It is going to be fewer and further between. But yeah, I mean, I have colleagues that are messaging me as I'm talking, pointing out Rec and Parks has activities. LA Well is something that we have that helps employees with wellness programs. So there are contracts out there, but you have to be diligent about looking at them and keeping on top of your RAMP account, making sure your NICS codes are up to date so that you get notified about them.
Okay, so I should be looking, like, which keywords do you think I should look up? Just wellness?
I would focus more on the NICS codes, because that is how RAMP is going to find you.
Okay, got it.
And when a bid comes out, that is what's going to be on it as far as what they're looking for. That's kind of the magic matchmaking system.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, who else we have? Teodoro. 1 second. Are you there?
Yes. Hi, could you hear me?
Yes. What's your
Great,
question?
thank you. Yes. Well, these sessions have been really excellent. Thank you so much. I'm learning so much and getting excited about being a small business with all these opportunities. My question is, with the certifications, you know, sometimes, well, for me, it's been a little convoluted. I mean, I know DGS, the Department of General Services for California, they have some reciprocity, but how do you know, do you get an actual certificate, or how do you know when you're certified with so many agencies? If you do go ahead on the portals, like for Long Beach, I think was very simple and clear cut, but it's
Different agencies are different.
yeah.
So for
How
the
can you
city of
check
Los,
if you're in or not, so that you know?
well, the city of Los Angeles, everything revolves around RAMP. So
Yeah.
if you have a RAMP account, you can, for the local business preference program, those certifications, there's not a physical certificate that is given to you,
Okay.
but it is added to your RAMP account, and you can take most people take a screenshot, and that's all they need to provide to show that they have it. The same goes for any that we are reciprocating, so recognizing. So if you have a DGS certification or a DVBE, disabled veteran, or an LGBTQ, or any of those other certifications that we don't issue but we recognize, those will also appear on your RAMP account once you request them and we've verified that you have them. So for us, everything revolves around that, and you just take a screenshot of it and you provide it with your bid. The other agencies are going to be different. Some still give you a paper certification. Others have a PDF you can print. It's one of those things that's just different because we're using different systems. But the one thing to keep in mind is that our systems don't speak to each other. So if you got a DGS certification, you got it recognized on RAMP, it expires in our system too. So if you renew it, it doesn't automatically renew with us. You have to come back and let us know you have a new one. So I see people falling into that loophole a little bit. Like they had one, they don't know why they don't. And it's just simply because they assumed the computers were going to talk to each other, and they don't. Does
Thank
that
you.
answer your question?
Yes.
There was a simpler way to do it, or something more universal, but there just isn't. It's too many different agencies doing it with different systems and with different resources. So it's going to be a little bit different each time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Phoenix?
Melissa,
Phoenix?
can you hear me?
Yes, there you are.
Awesome. Well, again, just want to echo everybody else's gratitude. Thank you so much for being such a great liaison. You know, it's just been an abundance of information. This is, amazing just to be a part of the cohort. For those that are going to be attending the event that Libby promoted, will we be able to meet you and say hi? Are you going or?
My entire team, who you will probably meet tomorrow, we will all be there, but at varying times of the day. So, but yes, BCA will have a table and we will be around. So please swing by and say hi. And I think some of the other people you've seen from Office of Finance and other places will probably also be there. So you can come meet us all in person.
Awesome, awesome. And lastly, I may be reaching here with this question, but gotta ask, will there be like a kind of like an event for all of us on the cohort, or is it just kind of like a email blast saying thank you at the end of the tomorrow session?
We are still working on that. There's a lot of these events going on right now. So if we do have something happen, it will be probably in a month or two. I think everyone is trying to squeeze in all of these big educational events prior to the holidays. So we don't want to put too much pressure on anyone to come to one thing instead of the other, but we will definitely reach out. Well, we'll for sure send you these slides, but if we do anything else, we will definitely let you know. We would like to. We're working on it. The other thing is, if someone asked early on if we could share the contact information for anybody, if that's something people want or don't want to be included in that, we may have something for you tomorrow, but think about it if you want to be reachable by the other people in this cohort.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Melissa.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, hello.
Teodora, hold on, because you already had one turn. I will come back to you, but I have
sorry,
one person
that's
ahead
okay.
of you. Hold on. Chris and or Faye Breedlove.
Hi, good evening, Melissa. Thank you so much for just this incredible conversation and dialogue. I do want to just kind of add my 2 cents and my experiences. I'm kind of echoing what some other folks have said prior to me. But, you know, we are MBE certified as a small business here in LA. Also have our business licenses for City of LA. We are also residents of Long Beach, so would love to work with the City of Long Beach. But I will say that kind of where we are too similar to, I believe his name was Ram, is that we are also in a gray area in that we are selling fragrances that are globally inspired. So we have like an LAX candle inspired by the city of Los Angeles. We have also partnered with hotels and we're members of LA Tourism. So we do a lot of experiential lifestyle types of activations and bespoke fragrance creation. So we're not necessarily in like, we're kind of in this gray area where we don't fit what usually pops up on Ramp or other opportunities. I think too, one of the responses to my questions was that, you know, in terms of corporate gifting, VIP activations, or other types of opportunities, promotional opportunities, it seems like, as an example, the City of Long Beach does have a contract. So again, as a small business that's kind of in this gray area where there's contracts and, you know, things, you know, being accounted for, it's a bit disheartening. I will say that when I was in Paris in 2024, I did see that there were like different companies that partner with like Paris 2024 to bring like in candle form actually. And so for us, like it would be a dream come true to be able to partner with the city or LA 28 for something like that. So I've just been trying to figure out creative ways that brands like ourselves can, you know, approach LA 28 or the city for these type of maybe off the procurement pipeline opportunity. But
I think for something like that, I think LA 28, you know, would be more inclined to have a situation like that. I know just from my own research looking online that there are already companies that are starting to, I think some of them are linked on la28.org, but about the experience and buying, you know, passes for the whole thing. And obviously we're several years out, right? So it's not completely formulated at this point, but I think those would be a good thing to keep an eye on, those very experiential type groups. They may not have city contracts, they may not be on Ramp, they may be independent, like we've been talking about, there's so many players, but keeping an eye on who's doing that for the Olympics may be the way to go. I can also say that even within that aren't LA City, I can almost guarantee you that there are going to be community organizations or pop-ups, or maybe even our own Department of Cultural Affairs. I have no idea what they're planning to do events that would want something like that. Or not long ago, I saw a bid on an opportunity on Ramp that was for the little carts that they have at like Olvera Street, and those sorts of things. So they were looking specifically for very small businesses who had very niche industries to come and sell out of those things. So that might come up again, or maybe on a larger basis, or maybe in Olympic Village. We don't know what it's going to be, but I wouldn't, you're correct in saying that it's not, it is a niche gray area kind of product that you sell, which means you're going to have to be probably a little bit more diligent than these companies that have limousines, right? Because that's a very obvious sort of need in this situation. But I would not be at all surprised to see products like yours at some of these events.
Okay,
Watch
well,
parties, that kind of
thank you.
stuff.
Appreciate it. Yeah, of course, we just got to keep on staying, just, you know, connect to the community. Just thank you for this opportunity to share our thoughts and be connected.
Yeah, definitely. Sign up on all these sites, because if you're not there, they're not going to find you.
That's true.
So-
Definitely try to. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Teodoro, you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you so very much. I'll be brief. My question, again, thanks for everything. It's been great. And for my colleagues out there, I've learned a lot from you guys as well. Thank you. Are we going to get like, I don't know, a certificate at the end of this training or anything like that?
That's what we're working on.
Oh,
We're
I
trying
see.
to figure out if you have a ramp account, which is one of the requirements for this. We want to have something on there that reflects your having participated here. We're working on what that's going to be exactly, but you will get some sort of recognition for having attended all 4 classes. That's why we made that a requirement. So
Thank you.
you're quite welcome. Let me go ahead. I see Scott, and I think you have some questions in the chat too, but how can I help you? What are your, how can I be of service? Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear
There
me?
you are. There you are. Hi.
Okay. For the event this Thursday, it shows that it's closed and I wanted some of our outside salespeople to participate. Can they come early and sign and register?
I don't know, because we're not hosting it. The mayor's office is.
Oh.
I'm not sure we're participating, but they're the ones who are doing it. I know they had a huge number of people register. We can try to ask if they're going to do on-site registration day of, and if there's any limits to it. And
Okay.
we can try to include that tomorrow in our chat when we meet again tomorrow. I don't know what the answer is going to be though, since we're not the ones hosting it.
Okay. Okay. That was my number 1 question.
Okay. Then hopefully I will have an answer for you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anyone else before we close it up for the night? Oh, one more. Desiree, go ahead.
I just want to tell you that I've done other programs, and I know that this program is probably one of the best ones, because it's actually making us work and actually really dissecting this whole process, which can be very, very overwhelming for small businesses like mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let's see. Robin, you have something?
Oh, yeah, it's just an administrative logistics question. Our entity had to update our ramp profile, so we have a new entity ID. I emailed the email address that emailed our homework assignment just to get the conversation going, but just wanted to update you on that.
Oh, sorry, I just got an answer to the previous question, but you said there's can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
We had to update our entity details on ramp, so we have a new entity ID. So I emailed the general BCA address that emails us about that. So just wanted to give you a heads
Fantastic.
up.
We'll take a look at it. It's still the same account number, right? Or did you close one and open a new one?
We had to close one and open a new one. We haven't closed the other one yet, but the new one is with my email address, which is registered with this anyway.
Okay. Make sure there is Leah had it in her presentation the first night, and it's on the website, but if you have 2 active accounts, we're not gonna be able to process certification requests. We're not gonna be able to do other things. So make sure that old account gets closed or put that request in.
Yeah, I'm reaching out to the help desk to help close
Okay,
it.
very good. Perfect. Thank you. All right. And then what I was sent, what distracted me was an image that was from the materials we received about Thursday, which shows that there is an on-site registration location. So it does look like they are doing on-site registration at the event, but I will confirm that just to make sure that the numbers they have isn't going to restrict that. All right, it's 6:25. I'll do one more and then we will close up for the night. So master plan events.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I actually had a question more about with the recent government shutdowns and a lot of the certifications, some of them not being available where we can get help and find out how we can apply those to some of our accounts. How does that kind of like work in relation? Do we just have to wait until things kind of come back online and we just try to add it back in? And I don't know if that affects like procurement process.
The government shutdown is only federal government. So it only really affects federal projects. In addition to that, one of the things that was mentioned by one of our presenters this evening and why they skipped an entire slide, I think it was Metro in their presentation, was about the DBE certification, the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, which is the only federal certification type that most of us work with or offer. And what they did is they have changed how they are going to apply the term disadvantaged. And so everything related to that certification type is on hold for us, for pretty much everyone at this point, because they have to recertify the ones that already have it. So that is the only one that's affected. So as long as you're not bidding on any federally funded projects, you shouldn't be impacted by that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And with that, I say thank you. And we will see you tomorrow night and have a wonderful evening. And don't forget to do your homework. All right. Thank you.